Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of our principal duties on this committee is to conduct rigorous oversight of the Department of Defense and its stewardship of taxpayer dollars. However, Congress often doesn't have the necessary information to make timely and informed decisions on what programs are being run properly. And by properly, I mean on budget, on time, and of highest quality. In order to fulfill our oversight role, Congress needs to have this kind of information to make decisions that will improve our national security and leverage scarce funding resources. My amendment is one that will improve our oversight of a program that has been well documented for numerous challenges in its development, the Littoral Combat Ship, LCS. Although imperative to our global security strategy and imperative to our pivot to Asia, the LCS has long had troubles with its original acquisition strategy, the C-frame development, different mission modules, manning requirements, and its survivability. Although I was heartened to hear about the recent declines in cost per hull and quality defects, this ship continues to face numerous problems, including extensive criticisms from Navy officials themselves who have signaled a need for vital, significant C-frame design changes that would disrupt the progress the program has made this far. However, our geopolitical realities paint a grim picture. We are living in an exceedingly dangerous world, and we may be facing more threats today than we have before. If anything, the need for fully operational of LCSs is greater than ever. That's why the Navy's lack of long-term acquisition strategy for the LCS is so disconcerting to me. Against policy and common sense, they continue to buy increments of LCS before defining requirements and costs, schedule and performance goals. They want to purchase more ships even before completing developmental testing of the craft's shock and survivability and operational testing of its mission modules. It is unclear what their plans are to monitor progress on the development of the mission modules and their functionality going forward. The Pentagon needs to ensure that the LCS's capabilities are fielded properly on schedule and that corrective actions are taken to address some of the ship's acquisition and performance problems. Another uncertainty is the overall future of the LCS. It is currently under review, and whether we continue to buy more LCS, move to a modified version, or scrap all of this investment in favor of a new ship altogether is still open to debate. This program was estimated to cost $220 million per ship in fiscal year 2006. It ballooned to more than $480 million per ship by fiscal year 2010. Before we sink another $977 million into this program, I want the Navy to certify that they have a long-term acquisition strategy for the ship. Even the GAO report commissioned by last year's NDAA recommended that Congress simply find out more about the Navy's intended future for the LCS before we buy more ships. My constituents have asked me time and time again to rein in wasteful spending and institute good governance practices in the Department of Defense. My amendment would simply follow the GAO's recommendation. It would not cut the number of LCSs, but rather withhold the authorized money until the Secretary of the Navy certifies to Congress what their acquisition strategy is for fiscal year 15 and beyond, and until Congress has the full report from the Secretary on what alternative proposals there are to the LCS the Department is considering. These are reasonable questions for us to ask the Navy. It is part of our job as Congress, and we need to make truly informed decisions about appropriate funding levels and the number of ships we should be acquiring. Again, I am not looking to cut the ships. Rather, I am looking to fulfill my oversight duties and that of the Congresses by asking the Navy to lay out a strategy before we authorize close to $1 billion for these ships. I think this is especially critical at a time when the DoD is proposing such things such as a raise in TRICARE premiums for military family members, as well as reaching into our retirees' pockets for part of their pay. If we can look at that, then we can certainly ask the Navy to give us their plan for the LCS before we spend another $1 billion. Thank you, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady yields back.